Welcome back to Mindset. Today, we delve into a sensitive yet crucial topic: suicide. In a world that's often filled with joy, it's difficult to fathom why someone might contemplate ending their own life. It's a complex, deeply personal issue that requires our utmost sensitivity and understanding. Today's discourse is not a quest for easy answers, but a journey towards fostering empathy, awareness, and support. We acknowledge the gravity of this topic and the potential distress it may cause, but silence is not an option. We need to break the barriers of discomfort and stigma that often surround discussions on suicide. The goal of this video is not just to paint a picture of the why and the triggers, but also to extend a virtual hand of support and understanding. This conversation is not easy, but it's necessary. Let's navigate it together. Suicide is complex, often resulting from a combination of factors, not a single cause. It's akin to a tangled ball of yarn, where each strand represents a different aspect that contributes to the overall issue. One of the most common strands is mental health issues. Conditions such as depression, anxiety, bipolar disorder, and others can create a sense of hopelessness and despair that may lead someone to contemplate suicide. In fact, over 90% of people who die by suicide have a diagnosable mental disorder, illustrating the strong link between mental health and suicide. Another significant strand is trauma. This could include physical, emotional, or sexual abuse, or experiencing a traumatic event. The aftermath of trauma can leave individuals feeling overwhelmed, helpless, and may lead to thoughts of suicide. Loss is yet another strand that can contribute to suicidal thoughts. This could be the loss of a loved one, a job, a relationship, or any significant aspect of life that drastically changes a person's circumstances or self-identity. Grief and loss can be profound triggers for suicidal thoughts, especially when combined with other factors. A feeling of isolation can also play a part. Human beings are inherently social creatures, and when we feel disconnected, isolated, or unsupported, it can take a severe toll on our mental health. This isolation can be physical, like being cut off from friends and family, or emotional, such as feeling misunderstood or unseen. It's also worth mentioning that suicide is more prevalent than many realize. Globally, suicide is the second leading cause of death among 15 to 29-year-olds. It's a widespread issue, affecting people of all ages, backgrounds, and walks of life. Understanding these contributing factors is a step towards creating supportive environments for those in need. By unraveling the strands of this complex issue, we can begin to see the bigger picture, foster empathy, and take action to support those who may be struggling. The journey of understanding starts with acknowledging the complexity of suicide, and it's our collective responsibility to keep the conversation going. Scene script. Triggers for suicidal thoughts can vary greatly and are often amplified by existing mental health conditions. It's a complex interplay, an intricate dance of factors, with each step leading closer to the edge. One of these factors is life's inherent unpredictability. Major life changes can throw anyone off balance. Maybe it's the loss of a job, a sudden upheaval in living circumstances, or the shattering end of a relationship. These events can feel like a rug being pulled out from under you, leaving a sense of instability and despair. And then there's relationship turmoil. We're social creatures, and our connections with others feed into our sense of self, our happiness, our security. When these connections fray, when misunderstandings grow into conflicts and conflicts into isolation, it can trigger a profound sense of loneliness, a feeling of being adrift in a sea of despair. Financial stress is another trigger, one that is all too common. The pressure of mounting bills, the dread of eviction, the fear of not being able to provide for oneself or one's family can pile on the emotional burden. It's a grim reminder of how intricately our survival is tied to the ebb and flow of our financial stability. But remember, these triggers, large or small, don't exist in isolation. They're often amplified by existing mental health conditions. Depression, anxiety, bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, and other such conditions can heighten the impact of these triggers. It's like pouring gasoline on an already raging fire. The flames of despair burn brighter, the smoke of hopelessness billows higher. Mental health conditions can distort our perception of reality, making problems seem insurmountable, trapping us in a cycle of negative thinking. They can make it harder to cope with life's adversities, to see the light at the end of the tunnel. They can make the thought of ending one's life seem like the only way out of the labyrinth of pain. But it's important to remember that these feelings of despair, these thoughts of ending it all, they're not a sign of weakness. They're a cry for help, a desperate plea for understanding and support. Recognizing these warning signs is crucial. It's about seeing the unspoken pain, hearing the silent cries, reaching out a hand when someone is on the edge. It's about breaking the silence that too often shrouds mental health and suicide, about starting a conversation that's long overdue, and it's about seeking help. There's strength in reaching out and saying, "I'm not okay." There are professionals trained to navigate these stormy seas of despair, to offer a lifeline when all seems lost. There are therapies, medications, support groups, tools to help manage these mental health conditions, to dull the sharp edges of these triggers. So, let's remember, no matter how dark the night, no matter how fierce the storm, there's always help, there's always hope. Let's remember to reach out, to speak up, to seek help. Recognizing these warning signs is crucial, as is reaching out for help. Stigma around mental health and suicide can be a barrier to seeking help. It's a shroud that cloaks the issue in silence and misunderstanding. We need to break this barrier, this stigma, to create an environment where individuals feel safe to express their struggles openly and honestly. The first step to breaking this stigma is to foster open conversations. By discussing these issues openly, we can begin to understand them better. This understanding breeds empathy, and empathy is one of our most powerful tools in combating stigma. When we empathize with those who are struggling, we encourage them to share their experiences, and this sharing can be a lifeline. Supporting someone who may be struggling can take many forms. One of the most important is active listening. This means not just hearing the words they're saying, but really understanding and empathizing with their feelings. It's about being present, offering a safe space for them to express themselves without fear of judgment. Encouraging professional help is another crucial aspect of providing support. We must remember that while our support is invaluable, it is not a replacement for professional help. Encouraging our loved ones to seek the help of mental health professionals can be a significant step towards their recovery. Resources are out there to help us navigate these difficult waters. Crisis hotlines can offer immediate assistance in times of need. Mental health organizations provide a wealth of information, support services, and community connections. These resources are lifelines for those struggling with mental health issues and suicidal thoughts. They provide guidance for those who want to help, but may not know how. Remember, breaking the stigma around mental health and suicide isn't something we can do alone. It requires a collective effort, a community commitment. We need to work together, learn together, and support each other. And when we do, we create a safer, more understanding world for those who are struggling. Your understanding and support can make a world of difference. The conversation around suicide is a challenging one, but it's a conversation we must have. It's a topic shrouded in complexity, often sparked by a web of intermingling factors. But as we unravel these threads, we foster understanding, breaking down barriers of stigma and silence. In this journey of understanding, we've explored the reasons why someone might contemplate suicide, delved into potential triggers and amplifiers, and highlighted the importance of recognizing these signs. In doing so, we're not only educating ourselves but also creating a supportive community for those who may be struggling. We urge you to share this video to spread this understanding as far and wide as possible. By doing so, we collectively take steps to break down the stigma surrounding suicide and mental health. We create conversations, open dialogues, and foster a community of support and understanding. Remember, seeking help is a sign of strength, not weakness. Support is always available, and you are never alone.